Good day to one and all. Today we are going to do the lesson Box and Cox, which is written by John Madison Morton. Before starting up the lesson, let's have a look on the introduction of Mr. John Madison Morton, who was born in a well-known dramatist family in England on 3rd January 1811. Take pencil in your hand, dear students, and take down the most important points which you must have to mention while writing the examination. John Madison Morton to till 1811. After that, he took a writing plays. Madison Morton wrote dozens of humorous one-act plays, two-act plays, and finally three-act plays. His plays won for him fame and lots of wealth. After that, from the last, he died in London on 19 December 1891. This much of intro is more than enough before starting the answer to show the examiner that you have a better idea regarding the writer. After writing about the writer, we must have to mention the main characters. What are the main characters? The main characters are Mr. Box, a painter, Mr. Cox, a hatter who works in a hat shop, and Mrs. Bonser, a lady who is very greedy landlady. These are the main characters of the lesson. So I am taking this class today only to mention how you must have to write the answer in the examination. First, you must have to write the intro of the author. Then you have to mention the important characters. After mentioning the important characters, we must have to talk about the play. So, Box and Cox by John Madison Morton is a comic one-act play. It is regarded as the best farce of the 19th century. It was translated into many European languages. It's a humorous drama. This much is enough for the play's introduction. After that, it has humorous in abundance. It serves as a social purpose by exposing certain follies we suffer from. Box and Cox thus proves itself to be the perfect comic one-act play. From the last point, this too. After writing this information, what we have to do is that we must have to focus on the question. What type of question the examiner is asking. Just open the page number 61 from your textbook. Here we are having question number A, B and D. These are the three most important questions of this lesson. Especially for the purpose of the board examination, you will get from these three any one answer, so that you must have to present the answer in this way: the author introduction, the main characters, and about the play a little information. After that, we must have to come up to the answer. If we are talking about the character of Mrs. Bonser, she is a greedy landlady who unscrupulously let her lodge room to two men without their knowledge. Means she is cheating out here, and she has given one room to two particular person. One is Mr. Box, who works as a painter, and another one Mr. Cox, who works as a shop hatter. These two men, not having the knowledge that they are just sharing the same single room, without having the knowledge of them that the another person is also there who is using that. The gentleman pay weekly rent to Mrs. Bonser for the same room, and they don't have any idea regarding the next person. But in some of the circumstances, Mrs. Bonser somehow manages to see all that do not come to the room at the same time. Yet they doubt that something is wrong. They complain to Mrs. Bonser that their things like coals, candles are getting fast exhausted. Mr. Cox also complains to have tobacco smell in the room. Mrs. Bonser goes on offering one or the other excuse. One day, Mr. Cox gets an unexpected holiday from his master, so he comes back to his room. He meets Mr. Box there. They initially find fault with each other, but finally they come to know of Mrs. Bouncer's deceptive trick. She bursts into sobs and prays for pardon. So this much of the answer, if you will write in your examination, this is going to be very helpful. I am mentioning this short and short lesson. Why? Because already in your school, in your college, you people have completed this lesson. We must have to focus on exam now. So according to the examination, you must have to write down the author's introduction, then you have to write the main characters. After that, you must have to explain. If there is a question regarding the only character of Mrs. Bouncer, the second question, you must have to give importance of her character. After that, we must have to do conclusion. In the conclusion, we can give Mrs. Bouncer was really a greedy woman who not only gave many fake excuses but also cheated both of them in a very smart way. But at last she has to ask for pardon. This shows that greedy is one of the worst things that have been showcased in John Maddison Morton's one-act play Box and Cox. And thus the play proves itself to be a farce of rare quality because the message has given with a humor. People will enjoy as well as get a knowledge of real life situation. So at the conclusion, we can conclude. What about the first question? Box and Cox is regarded as the best farce of 19th century. Support the statement with illustration from the play. So here again, you must have to write down the author's introduction. After that, you must have to write the main characters. Soon after the main characters, explain the answer. Like, it is a one-act play, it is hilarious, which we have given already in the introduction of the lesson. Mrs. Bouncer, the greedy landlady, renting out the same room to two gentlemen separately in the most unimaginable improbability. The tenants, Mr. Box and Cox, do not know this. Mr. Box and Cox is a painter. So the same thing is again revising. Because of that reason, dear student, if you will learn this much which I have shared with you, it is going to be so helpful. In the examination, presentation is very important. Whenever you are writing the answer, do present well. First, you must have to mention the author's introduction. In that, what the important points I have given, that are more than enough. After that, you must have to mention the characters. After mentioning the characters, we must have to tell about the play. How much? Not the full para. The 2 lines till European language. Then the last one, it serves as a social purpose for exposing certain follies we suffer from. Box and Cox thus proves itself to be a perfect comic one-act play. This much should be written. After that, this paragraph is more than enough for 3 answers. You need not to learn separate answers for every question. If you are going to get this much of knowledge, it is going to be very much useful and you can write the answer with your own. I hope you understood well. This is the sure and short method for you to present your answer in your board exam. Definitely I am going to share the other lessons answers so that it will be easy for you to write down and to understand. Have a great day. Carry on, do subscribe the channel so that you can get more videos and more knowledge about English language.